I'm reading from AnnaVonReitz.com. Essay number 736, a brief report for those trying to understand the New World. This is dated August 21st, 2017. Basic concepts and discussion. The natural world is organized according to air, land, and sea. The system of law and the governments and institutions of men have also been organized according to jurisdictions of air, land, and sea. The jurisdiction of the land is national in nature. The jurisdiction of the sea is international in nature. The jurisdiction of the air is global in nature. All actual assets, gold, silver, land, etc., have their existence on or in the land. All fictional assets, titles, stocks, bonds, etc., have their existence on or in the sea. There is a point of interface between land and sea known as international land jurisdiction, established by the postal districts, post offices, and post roads, which interface with sea lanes designated for international trade and travel. As a result, a corporate entity which is a private and non-commercial and unincorporated a corporate entity which is private and non-commercial and unincorporated, like a mom-and-pop business, for example, Steve's Food Store, may interface with and do business with an incorporated entity established by a corporate charter like Food Services of America, Incorporated. This sort of business relationship takes place in the realm of international trade, not commerce, because Steve's Food Store is not incorporated. In order for commerce to occur, both entities must be incorporated and functioning under a charter granted by an unincorporated sovereign entity. Unincorporated businesses function under full commercial liability and have to indemnify themselves. Incorporated businesses function under limited commercial liability and have to insure themselves. As a result, an unincorporated government, such as the Shawnee Tribal Council or the United States of America Unincorporated, can charter an incorporated business such as Grand Fox Incorporated or the State of Illinois Incorporated, but no incorporated entity can create an unincorporated one. This is because a man can create a name an organization and stipulate a purpose and function for that organization, but such an organization cannot create a man. In the past, unincorporated governments have created and chartered governmental services corporations in an effort to manage risk. So the United States of America Unincorporated, or Delaware Unincorporated, could create and charter a commercial incorporated entity called the USA, styled in all caps, Incorporated, or Delaware, styled in upper and lowercase, Incorporated, or State of Oregon. Those incorporated, chartered entities, such as the State of Oregon, were then free to establish relationships with other incorporated entities, that is, conduct commerce, and to spin off municipal franchises like the State of Oregon, styled in all capital letters. Now you see how this process works and know that the unincorporated entity, corporate, but not incorporated, is really the source of all power in this system. The following pages will make better sense. Examples. Steve's Food Store Unincorporated can create Betty's Market Incorporated, and then Betty's Market Incorporated can create municipal franchises for itself. Betty's Market, New York City Incorporated. The United States of America Unincorporated can create State of Idaho Incorporated, and then this State of Idaho can create the franchise State of Idaho, styled in all capital letters, or City of Boise, also styled in all capital letters. Obviously, it is of great importance to know whether a business is incorporated or unincorporated, and if it is incorporated, under what charter and ownership. Unfortunate history. In the 1860s, the unincorporated government organizations got greedy and not only spawned all the various incorporated governmental services corporation via the process described, but also contrived to make living men subservient to these artificial constructs by impersonating and enfranchising them too. This was done by copyright infringement and breach of trust with the aim of creating public trusts, which could be pillaged and plundered under color of law. Let's see what happened in England. The unincorporated government operated by Queen Victoria already had an incorporated chartered government services corporation, the United Kingdom. So then the United Kingdom Incorporated spun off a franchise operated as the United Kingdom, styled in all capital letters, which then established municipal charters for its own franchises. Scotland, Ireland, England, Wales, Newcastle, Exeter, and so on, all styled in all capital letters. This was going so well, and so much new money was being raised from all these new assets, things to tax, created out of thin air, that Benjamin Disraeli promoted opening up the enfranchisement opportunity to the working class of England. Give them a vote as corporate shareholders in exchange for seizing upon the copyrights of their names, their rights, their labor, the value of whatever private assets they might have, basically make them slaves of the government under the disguise of voluntary indentured servitude, and issue bonds based on the value of all that formerly private property, too. Millions of unsuspecting Englishmen clamored to be enfranchised and thought that the right to vote was a good thing, and that it was giving them a greater voice in their government instead of surreptitiously stealing everything of value from them and monetizing it for the benefit of the government. A similar process was undertaken in America and throughout the Commonwealth countries at about the same time, with one interesting twist. The unincorporated government of the United States of America wouldn't go along with it, so their governmental services company, known as United States Trading Company, was bankrupted via an illegal commercial mercenary war and its associated expenses. This left the bankruptcy trustees a free hand to restructure the federal government into a British-style system analogous to what we described above. The perpetrators replaced the unincorporated United States Trading Company with the British chartered United States of America Incorporated and the Municipal United States Incorporated, and both these corporations began chartering all their various municipal franchises like rabbits in springtime. Just as in England, the men were almost immediately enfranchised with the enticement to have a vote in the affairs of the corporations. But the real deal was never disclosed. Later, as the profits from enfranchising all the men dwindled, the pressure was on to enfranchise the women too, and finally the perpetrators sank so low as to create an automated system of enfranchising babies in their cradles. The end result of this system of enfranchisement, as in a McDonald's franchise, is to enslave people under color of law and make them subservient to foreign corporations. They are themselves then impersonated and press-ganged and conscripted into the service of foreign governments, which has been outlawed for 200 years, and their land and other assets are seized upon and rolled into public trusts, which can then be plundered and pillaged at will by the perpetrators. For example, the natural given trade name of a man born on the land jurisdiction of Vermont might be Jonathan Edmund Sykes. Instead of his common law copyright to his own name being recorded as the land jurisdiction trade name, it is nowadays registered as a foreign situs trust operating in the international jurisdiction of the sea as a vessel of the territorial United States, which just coincidentally happens to be doing business as Jonathan Edmund Sykes in upper and lowercase letters. This is a fundamental mischaracterization of the nature and political status of the man as a person, a fictional entity, which results in genocide on paper and identity theft in fact. His natural identity as a man and his lawful trade name is literally killed and considered a decedent upon the issuance of a false birth certificate in his name. Then the territorial United States Corporation spins off Jonathan Edmund Sykes, styled in all capital letters, assessed to KV Municipal Trust, and Jonathan E. Sykes, a public transmitting utility, and so on, and all these names and fictional entities are used to indebt and control the living man as an asset and chattel without his knowledge or consent. The victim of his family are never told anything about it, and he never receives any actual compensation for all this. He receives whatever benefit everyone else receives from the construction of roads and bridges and ports and so on, and also is expected to pay for that benefit via taxes. The trusts established in his name are never claimed by him because he doesn't know they exist, so the banks and governments claim these assets, are abandoned, and seize upon them under false pretenses for their own benefit. Because the unincorporated government of the United States of America never agreed to any of this, and because it eventually had to be released from bankruptcy, it continues to exist and is now not only free and clear of any debt, but also by definition is the paramount security interest holder and priority creditor of all the bankrupt foreign corporations and franchises of those corporations which have usurped upon our states and our people for the last 150 years. The current bankruptcies. The United States Incorporated, styled as all capital letters, and all its municipal franchises doing business as China Inc., Japan Inc., India Inc., State of Oregon Inc., John Michael Smith Inc., City of Omaha Inc., United Kingdom Inc., Florida Inc., Canada Inc., Australia Inc., all styled in all capital letters, ad infinitum, is in Chapter 7, liquidation, since 2015. This then forced the territorial United States and its corporate franchises doing business as China Inc., Japan Inc., State of Oregon Inc., John Michael Smith Inc., City of Omaha Inc., United Kingdom Inc., Florida Inc., Canada Inc., and Australia Inc., styled in upper lowercase ad infinitum, is in Chapter 11 reorganization as of May 1st, 2017, because they are no longer the beneficiaries of the municipal franchises. Meantime, the actual factual United States of America, unincorporated, has been slogging along since 1868, objecting to this madness and continuing to operate its own silver currency and its own affairs, despite the shameful and criminal operations of these foreign corporate interests, which have operated in fraud and breach of trust and breach of commercial contract on our shores. Some people, like Karen Hudas, have said that our lawful government is in an interregnum, a state of abeyance, dormant, not functioning, but that's not true. Our lawful government has never ceased operations, and the ignorance and uncaring and self-interest of various other nations does not change that fact. Other people, like Benjamin Fulford, continue to try to confuse both the United States Inc. and the United States of America Inc. with the unincorporated government of the United States of America, which is like confusing a Barbie doll with a woman of the same name. Still others are intent on pretending that because these foreign territorial and municipal corporations named after us are bankrupt, that we are bankrupt, a process of assumption that we have publicly and repeatedly objected to in no uncertain terms. Not only are we not bankrupt, we are the paramount security interest holders and priority creditors. The reason that all the other nations on earth have an interest in denying our existence and competence is that they, all without exception, owe us money, our resources, or settlement of the exchange balance sheets, most of which they can't pay. So they've been attempting to claim that our assets are abandoned, and various parties have tried to seize upon us and our assets via other avenues too, all to no avail. We are here, we are alive and well, we know who and what we are, we know what has been done to us, and we know who is responsible. In 2008, there were only a handful of unincorporated lawful governments left in the world. The Holy See, Iran, Iraq, Libya, North Korea, and a few Pacific Island kingdoms, and the unincorporated United States of America, though everyone discounted us at the time. With these exceptions, the Holy See owned and operated through its property management corporation, the Vatican, all the incorporated governments doing business as governmental services corporations in the world. The unincorporated government of the Holy See chartered the municipal city-state governments and franchises, including United States Incorporated, styled in all uppercase letters, which chartered all the others as franchises: Japan, Germany, United Kingdom, USA, John Mark Olson, City of Baltimore, and so on. It also held all the territorial government corporations secondarily through vassals. All roads literally lead to Rome. All these corporations were created literally by the Holy See via the Vatican Incorporated, styled as all capital letters, or via the United States Incorporated, styled as all caps, or via the United States of America Incorporated, styled in upper and lowercase letters. And at the very top of the food chain, perched like a cherry on top of everything else, controlling, at least in theory, everything underneath it, was the unincorporated government of the Holy See. As you can see from history, there are those who wish to have the Holy See in this kind of control, and as you can see also, the Holy See has failed to do the job entrusted to it. We had a solemn and sacred treaty with the Holy See, a concordant, which a few weasels attempted to redefine by impersonating us. To its credit, the Holy See and the Pope immediately took action to correct, beginning in 2008. 9 years later, the unincorporated government of the United States of America, our government, is still standing and is the unquestioned paramount security interest holder of all American assets and the priority creditor of most of the bankrupt governmental services corporations worldwide. The situation. The corporations serving as the federal government are in bankruptcy liquidation, municipal, or bankruptcy reorganization, territorial, and are in receivership to bankruptcy trustees. From our perspective, this is like having your local hair salon forced out of business and your local gas station in reorganization. It has nothing direct to do with us except that we needed to find other service providers competent to cut our hair and fill our tanks, and hopefully do a more honest job of it, who are nonetheless able to operate under the auspices of the original service contract, the Constitution for the United States of America. If we hadn't found competent federal partners that exist under their own separate pre-existing charters and treaties, the actual Constitution would have been vacated from the federal side of the agreement. But we did find competent partners, and we did issue new sovereign letters patent. We have partnered with the American Native Nations to fulfill the responsibilities owed by the federal government until such time as the millions of Americans who have slept through this entire debacle can be brought up to speed and made whole and enabled to convene a competent land jurisdiction, Continental Congress. The debt. There is no unmet national debt. There is only national credit that has not been applied to the ledger by those seeking to abscond with the payments made by millions of innocent people via bogus claims of abandonment and embezzlement. We have authorized the application of the national credit to the national debt, and as the priority creditors of almost the entire world, do not need nor do we seek bankruptcy protection. The foreclosures. There are no valid foreclosures because these transactions have been voided by fraud and non-disclosure. All mortgages resulting from so-called home loans are debts owed by the territorial and municipal corporations, not people, and are in fact lease repurchase agreements, neither mortgages nor loans in fact. These governmental services corporations borrowed our assets without our knowledge or consent, hypothecated debt based on our assets, and have now gone bankrupt, leaving the world to suppose that we agreed to all this and that we are avoiding payment, when in fact we are objecting to claims of odious debt and taking practical action to end this fiasco. To protect the pension funds and investors while holding the people harmless, we have developed a means to hold all foreclosures in abeyance and translate this odious debt into credit for the actual homeowners. Securities, the funny money. The various fiat currencies and bonds and securities related to them have to be restructured. It is a given that securities will continue to exist and be used in some form in the future, But it is also a given that the securities now in existence have been compromised by counterfeiting and other issues. We will be wrapping old U.S. Treasury bonds and creating new hybrid high security bonds backed by gold, oil, and other actual commodity assets. The final word. The earth and our labor and the derivatives of our labor, copyrights, trademarks, patents, and so on, are the only source of value on this planet, and there is no exhaustion or limit of the riches and assets we all possess. This is true for all people of every nation. The old structure as regards to relationship of the Holy See to the incorporated governments. On top, the Holy See. Beneath it, unincorporated government of the Holy Roman Empire. Beneath that, Vatican Chancery Court, the Bank of the Holy See. Beneath that, the Vatican City-State Municipal Franchise. Beneath that, the Vatican Bank. Beneath that, the United States Incorporated Municipal Franchise, now in Chapter 7. All other municipal government franchises worldwide. Beneath that, the United States of America Incorporated Territorial Franchise, now in Chapter 11, and beneath that, all other territorial government franchises in the world. The new structure as regards to settlement of debts owed and ownership interest. The Holy See on top, unincorporated government of the Holy Roman Empire. Beneath that, Vatican Chancery Court, the Bank of the Holy See. Separately, the United States of America. Beneath that, unincorporated government of the United States. Beneath that, American States and Nations Bank, International Trade Bank. Beneath that, Athabascan and Lakota Sioux tribal nations. Beneath that, Sovereign Bank of Dene. Don't know what that is. International Trade Bank. Bank of Dene, Commercial Bank. Beneath that, all municipal governments and franchises worldwide. Beneath that, all territorial governments, franchises worldwide. The entities shown in purple are sovereign and unincorporated. Those entities shown in blue are all incorporated either by direct charter or created as franchises under a charter. The Bank of Dene, I can't pronounce it, is the first generation commercial bank on this continent. To see that new structure, go to this essay, number 736 at annavonreitz.com, and donate via PayPal for the continuance of this work. Thanks. Oh, and you spell it ANNAVONREITZ.com.